The story begins with a woman being attacked in a back alleyway, but the scene quickly shifts to a radio broadcast. The news on the radio informs citizens about the woman's attack, but I find it less important than thinking about tea time with my younger sister, Lu Xiaoyu. I scolded Xiaoyu for attempting to drink the medicine tea without permission. Although she only wants a sip, I insist she must apologize to Auntie Lin. She complains about being too hungry to move, but I offer her carrots, reminding her that the Jianghu people used to eat them. Xiaoyu playfully retorts, teasing me about looking like a dried carrot and how she's trying to avoid a similar fate. She insists on having the finest dish, glorious instant noodles, for New Year's, but I explain that her dreams, they're too big. However, her persistent persuasion, along with a threat to crack my precious walnut necklace, convinces me to buy her the instant noodles as she opens her mouth and lets go of my hand. She demands the braised beef flavor, and I head out to buy it for her. Back at home, we see Aunt Lin finishing deep frying, and she asks Xiaohu to wait for me to return so we can eat together, ensuring the serving size is exactly 50-50. As she waits, she starts to feel bad for Shu, so she gives him one for the sky being dark, one for it being cold outside, and one last one since he is so weak and she is merciful. Though while she is nice, she won't give any more up past 3 as the rest is hers. Though she remarks that dinner won't be nice if it gets from Lu Shu being late. While waiting, Xiaoyu starts feeling bad for me as I am taking too long. I took a picture of the fireworks for Xiaoyu, hoping to gift her real fireworks next year. However, my attention is drawn to the main antagonist, Truck Kun, and in a shocking turn of events, I get hit by the truck and believe I'm about to die. The walnut that I had in the necklace cracks as I notice I am heavily bleeding and get knocked high into the air and fall onto the sidewalk. During the chaos, Xiaoyu bombards me with messages, worried I might leave her. I miraculously survived the accident and the truck driver ran away scared, screaming ghost. I confronted him about compensation and realized that I didn't feel any pain or injury as I looked at my hand covered in blood and wondered, why didn't I die? Back home, Xiaoyu reminds me that Auntie Lin gave us some meatballs, but her eyes widen and she asks what happened. I shrug it off saying I rammed into a car, but the person is fine. She wonders if the blood was from the car, as if cars can bleed. She is most worried if they will be able to pay them back. Though I joke that I have paid them back using the money that I had prepared for her to go to the festival with. Though Sayo remarks if I still think she is a kid and would believe that excuse. So I lied and said others were in the car crash and I was just helping. My lowly being with no maidens has her in doubt that I would help others. I mention I'm off to the shower. While rinsing my hair, I look in the mirror and I don't notice any changes to my body, but I notice a strange tree symbol on my hand, and suddenly, a gacha game interface appears in front of me. Thinking I have a superpower, I explore the interface a bit and see a shopicon and it opens a new menu, showing that star fruit costs 1,000. I only got 697, but then it updates to 701 magically. I started thinking that God is kind and rewarding me for nearly dying and gave me a power that automatically generates money. I think I better use this chance to earn enough money to cover Xiaoyu's school fees and grocery money for the rest of my life. So I decided to check the income log. I become disheartened when there's no money. I discovered that negative emotion points grant me abilities and try to get more points from Xiaoyu, jokingly teasing her to cook the noodles herself and to make one for him as well. She remarks that Lu Shu, you've changed, and I get 3 sets of 166 points of negative emotions. However, I think that terrorizing the local population could benefit me, though I started wondering if these points could be withdrawn. So I try every magic phrase I know: withdraw, open sesame, alazaham, poof, give me money, oh money. Sadly, I realize that the money can't be withdrawn and start demanding money from it, and I head right to the lottery center. Though as we all know from the lottery in real life, you only always win and get only good prizes. Only after several attempts do I think for a moment I may be having some bad luck today, but on the next draw, I get a remolding fruit and I withdraw it from my inventory without a second thought and pops it into my mouth and my body starts sizzling from the heat. It seems that the fruit is remolding my body in meridians. Though Zayo is upset I am taking so long, I quickly finish my bath so I can eat my food. I praise Zayo for not messing up cooking the noodles, and I tease Zayo that she can cook next time. However, I shouldn't bully her too much as she has given me lots of points, so I don't want to upset her. I ask if she wants to build a snowman after eating, but she responds if I go back on my word, then I owe her 2 sticks of tangulu at the festival tomorrow. We joke about how it will be ugly, and sadly I still can't make fun of it. She asks if he feels the two snowmen are like us, and I ask what she wants to be when she grows up. Zayo says when she grows up, she wants to make tenghulis. I joke that is she lucky that she doesn't want to be an artist or a sculptor. A person in a suit catches a fireball on the roof behind us without either of us noticing. The scene switches back to me on the couch at home. I am on my phone, but Zayo asks if I'm flirting with a girl and that I don't even care for my little sister. However, I am just playing messages in a bottle on WeChat, which just allows me to message a random person. However, I fool them by saying I have a picture focusing on the chest, but it is just a chest x-ray. This poor sucker gives me 299 negative emotion points, a huge score. Zayo thinks I'm not acting normally because of the cold. I get mad and tell her to go back to her room or she will not attend the festival tomorrow. I am aiming to use WeChat messages in the bottle to get enough negative emotion points to go for my lottery draw again. Though I decided to do 7 draws, the first 6 got nothing but thanks for participating. However, I remark how the system won't even want to type out the full sentence just because of my bad luck. But on the 7th draw, I get a special piece of glowing paper that has the lyrics for Twinkle Little Star. I complain to the system asking what the hell is this, but as I read the lyrics I realize that they are a bit different and wonder if it could be a spell, so I just sing the song. Twinkle, twinkle, little stars, spread in the heavens how beautiful they are, floating beyond the borders of the mortal worlds, shining brightly like diamonds in the night. As the sun burns out and the void becomes silent, the absence of the setting sun voids the galaxy. The night is long and the path unfound, till the flames are extinguished and the songs are sung. A small flame appears out of my hand and pops like a firework above my head. I then see a night sky open above me. Then I get sucked into my inner body and see a galaxy. As this happens, I feel as if this star map will help me improve my powers. As I come back to my senses, I ask Xiao if she is asleep and if she saw anything fall from the ceiling just now. She denies hearing anything outside, but asks if I was singing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Though I clap back telling her to never mind and don't forget that she has to wake up early tomorrow so they can arrive early at the festival. I was surprised and horrified that she could still hear me, even though I sang so quietly and thought I better avoid her next time, or else I would be laughed at. The next scene cuts to them walking down the streets of the festival, and Zayo is mentioning how yesterday's performance of the Twinkle Little Star song was very good, and that she will reward me with 2 pieces. Though I insist that I didn't sing and she must have misheard. I then try to get her attention to look at the performers, though while chewing, Zayo mentions that I have changed the conversation so obviously. However, I told her to eat a bit more, which would shut her up. Though quickly, a crowd starts to surround this street performer and Zayo can no longer see, as I see the man shoot fire from his hands in what looks like a magic trick. I have a feeling in my chest that this man could also be awakened and be using fire powers. Zayo is upset that it is over and she didn't get to see anything and wants me to bring her backstage to take a closer look. I agree and walk her to the backstage tent, though shortly after we enter we see several people in suits enter. As they spring forward, the man shoots fireballs from his hands, but the girl dodges to her right and suddenly appears behind him, uses her taser on his neck, and tells her partner to take him away. Though Zayoyu, who is oblivious to the situation, asks why are they catching him, both worry appears in both of the agents' eyes as there is now a witness to their actions. Though Shu quickly covers her mouth, the woman in the suit straightens her posture and explains that this man did not apply for a permit for fire-related performance and that he had violated fire safety protocols. She also mentions that he will be brought back for investigation. I nod in agreement that safety first is important, and I thank her for the hard work she did at the festival. Though I'm thinking to myself that I would be a fool if I believed her. I have never heard of firefighters knocking people out and taking them away. As I walked out, I apologized for troubling them, and I guided Zayo out of the tent, still covering her mouth. After I leave, the lady asks if there is any problems, but the man responds that he can't sense any energy flux, and they agree to just take the downed performer back as soon as possible. As we walk down the street, I wonder where did the men in black come from, and if all awakened are brought back to be studied. Though I realize I am lucky since I'm a noob, they didn't notice me, and I also need to be careful in the future. Even Sayoyu notices. The people in the suits are different, and I confirm that they should be. I ask her, what if there are a lot of people that are stronger than us in this world? What should we do? She simply retorts that we just got to be stronger than them, and I smirk and tell her that she is right. As a firework goes off in the sky, a strange person is hiding behind a building. They mention that it is weird that this time they let the witnesses go without any hesitation. Zio jokes that she will protect Shu in the future, though the person who is hiding suddenly greets them and introduces himself as Ji Wei. Though Shu jokes about how happy he is, for some reason Ji is just confused. So Shu asks a second time, and he gets even more confused, but eventually responds with that he is very happy. Zhi wonders why I don't respond normally. He suddenly asks if he can share what happened backstage, and as they walk away he swears he is not a bad gay. However, as I walk home, I wonder if this person is also investigating superpowers. Since I don't know who is investigating these things, I have to be very careful about everything from now on. I decided to see if there was any news about the festival online. However, he gets an alert from the class group WeChat that shows the people in black suits at the festival. Though Jiao wonders if they had a class gathering without him, though I remind her that I don't have any money to go out with, so it's normal that they won't ask me. Xiaoyu jokes that it's so sad only the kind and generous Xiao is the only one who will play with me. Having enough of her, I tell her to go back to sleep, but she remarks that I will lose my one and only friend with this. Though as she goes back to sleep, I see that the group chat is active. I read the following messages. School resumes on the 8th day of the Chinese New Year. I want to play a few more days. Stop dreaming. I'll wake you up by beating you with my test papers. Haha. Hope that the days where we get as tired as dogs can end early. However, I felt that the last comment was rude to dogs, so I sent the following message. Dogs don't get as tired as any of you do. I get negative emotions from all three, roughly getting 332 negative emotion points, thinking how lovely they are. However, as I look through my points log, I see that I am constantly getting +1 point from Ji Wei from earlier. He can really hold a grudge, it seems. Suddenly cuts to Ji sneezing, as it is a common myth that you get cold and sneeze when someone is talking about you. Though Ji gets questioned by an old man asking why those rats have gone silent for the past few days. He smirks, takes out his phone, and mentions that is because Ni Ting has acted and we see him splitting a mountain. The scene cuts back to me looking at my power shop. However, thanks to the good income lately, I can buy another stellar fruit from the store. I notice I can feel the energy within this fruit. Though since the shop calls it a fruit, I guess it should be something beneficial that can be eaten. I decide to test it, take a bite and find out. Suddenly, I feel energy surge inside me, and I see my star map, and now see the first and second stars light up. I feel a new power, and I grasp it in my left hand, punch the ground, and notice how my body has never felt this good. Sadly, soon all the pain rushes to my hand, and it hurts. Though Zio wakes back up and wonders what was the sound just now and asks if something fell from up there. I told her that it was just my head hitting the wall. Though in a serious tone, Zio reminds me I need to take it easy and that I still need to take care of her. She wonders if she misheard, but she grabs my attention as she sees someone who fell from the sky. I think she is playing, so I tell her it's late so she can't go out and play. No matter what happens, she can't go outside and she can't watch. Zio, fed up with me, pushes me to the window to see for myself. Though as I tell her even if it's real she can't. But then I realized she was telling the truth and remark that someone did fall from the sky. Very quickly I remembered that it was the man from the festival who was taken away, so I headed outside with Zio, and I debated what should we do, save him, skin him, or sell him. Though I decided that we would call emergency service since it costs money to call, we will just tell them we don't know who he is and let him pay for it once he's awake. However, I suddenly noticed I got 70 points from him, and then I realized he had pretended to have fainted. Thinking of what to do, I realize he should be one of the superhumans that the news has been reporting on. But seeing as he's just lying there, pretending to be knocked out, that means he is a free piggy bank. Zio asks if we should move him into our home, though I remind her to move him out of our yard. If not, we can't explain why he's here when he wakes up, or if someone catches him on the ground. He gives me another 470 points. Zio asks if we should get him some water. Though I remark that boiling water takes too much time, just feed him snow. He gives another 170. And I think, when have people become so not innocent or devious? The man on the ground starts fake coughing and asks if we can help him. I shout no, as I shove his head back into the ground and mention that he shouldn't move as I hold his body down. And boy did I hit the jackpot because he gives me 800 more points. Though he just says to let him up first, I stop him and insist that he needs to reset and push him back into the icy cold GD ground. It is only at this point, though, that the guy on the ground starts to think I'm crazy. And now lots of small points are coming in, but they are constant. The man seems to have had enough as he gathers fire in his hand, and I tell Zio to run. He tries to burn my arm, but it goes out instantly, as Zio throws snow at it. Naturally stubborn, he tries it again, but I just smirk and smile while receiving all his negative emotion points. And after several times of him failing to use his powers on me, I ask him if he has finished playing. He begs to be let go. I let him go and teased him, offering him to come play again. Turns out, the man chose their yard because he thought that a family that builds a snowman is filled with kind people. As the guy runs away, I notice that to my left, there are people in suits, or the men in black as the news calls them. Zio Yu, with a worried expression, tells me not to go closer to any superhumans next time, and reminds me that if it wasn't because of her, I would have been burnt to a crisp. I decided to let her on a secret that I am awakened as well. Thou Zio really wants to see some flames. However, I tried to change the conversation, saying I needed to go to bed early since I needed to sell eggs tomorrow morning. Cuts to the street where I usually sell my eggs. The stall next to me greets me and wonders why don't I close up the shop and go to my class already. School has started already, though I assure him I will be okay and won't be late, as it is only a few minutes walk away. On my phone, I start listening to the news. The news lady announces the following. Emergency. The shopping mall at 429 of Shacheng Road caught a fire, and local authorities claim that the fire lasted for a whole night and was caused by the improper disposal of explosive materials. However, I noticed that this news is on a new site called Foundation. This site had all the videotapes of supernatural events that were banned on the internet are here. This website rated different awakeners from level F, slightly stronger than ordinary people, level E in possession of supernatural power, level D with power of the Matrix and able to dodge thermal weapons, level C able to fight against thermal weapons as they just bounce off their bodies. Starting at level B, you have the power to be able to borrow the power from heaven and earth. Level A didn't have much information, but they can resonate with heaven and earth or whatever that means. However, I think this site is too thoughtful and too open or free for the information it has. My classmates mock me for not blinking, and they joke with me as they see the Foundation site and ask if I want to become an awakener and tell me to not waste my time on it as it will never happen to me. They grab an egg and mention who would buy them except for us. Even if we are buying them, it's like we're donating you. Quickly, they all stuff up as the goddess of their school walks up to my stall and asks for one egg, and I tell her that will be 1.5 yuan or 20 cents. However, I notice as she puts the money down that she has this aura around her, and I panic for a second, but thankfully she can't detect my power. As Louis tries to chase after her, I remind him that he did not pay, so he hands me a bill and tells me to keep the change. Realizing that more and more people are awakening, I decide that I need to hurry up with cultivation and try to get more fruits, which simply means I just need to collect more negative feelings in the day. However, my classmates shouldn't be afraid as I'm not a devil. After all, in case the person sitting next to me asks if I want to be awakened and what kind of superpower I wish to obtain, though I just give the boring remark of freedom, equality, justice, and frugality, and she just remarks that I am a straight A student and no wonder I rank top in our class. Though I suddenly get negative feelings from Yelingling, I decide to not mind him as he will never be awakened anyway. Suddenly I get poked and asked for the answers by everyone around me, though I quickly cover my answers to collect some free points. However, they remark internally that I used to be different as I covered my answers. The teacher walks up to Li Qi and reminds him that he shouldn't cheat, but that makes Li Qi very angry and he stands up out of his seat and breaks his desk. Though everyone freaks out with his strength, Li Qi gabs the teachers and shouts at him, "I'm awakened and I'll never have to take exams. I'm no longer afraid of teachers." However, I raised my hand to get his attention and told him he was wrong and the law would punish him if he did. He remakes that he is a minor who is only 17 years old, so he won't have to be put in prison even if he attacked him. However, I remind him he will bear legal responsibility as long as he is 14 years or older under civil law and commits any of the 8 major crimes. By the way, the 8 major crimes refer to the following charges: intentional homicide, intentional injury, beep, robbery, arson, drug trafficking, and placing dangerous substances and/or explosions. I also informed him he was committing the crime of intentional injury. I informed him he should read more often when he gets the chance. Then, like clockwork, the whole class gives me their sweet negative emotions. However, he gets upset and pushes the teacher to the floor and lifts his desk above his head. I kindly inform him that according to our school's rules and regulations, that he will need to pay compensation if he damages a public possession. That makes him slam the desk on the ground. Shocking everyone, The principal appears and tells everyone to go back to their own class and study on their own or else they will be punished. I notice that the people behind the principal are dressed the same as the people in black suits from the other day. They capture Li Qi and he is confused as to why he can't shake them off. The class starts wondering where Li Qi will be taken. Some remark that says on the internet that now it's an era for superpowers to be awakened, and they wonder if will they become one of the awakeners someday. The speaker in the front of the classroom announces the following. Attention, everyone, we will have a blood test for you, and please wait patiently in your classrooms. However, I feel as though something isn't right with this being too sudden. The principal eventually brings 3 people in white coats to our classroom, and we get sold when our names are called to come to the front. However, I realize that my body is stronger than before, taking that marrow-washing fruit that opened up my meridians earlier. I worry this blood test might reveal me, and I believe that these people in white coats are just people in black wearing a doctor's outfit. First, Louis Lee gets called, but I interrupt mentioning I'm not feeling well and need to go to the bathroom. One of the people in the white jacket senses I'm trying to avoid the test and suggests that I should come first. I regretfully inform him that I can't bear it, but he confirms it will only take a few seconds. Though as I think of ways to get out of this, my classmate next to me has a need to panic and faints. However, they still lift her arm and take her blood. I wondered what kind of regular examinators would do that, and sadly they grabbed my arm and took my blood sample. The scene cuts to an hour later after everyone's blood has been taken, and they release Li Qi back into the classroom. The teacher hides behind the men in the white coats and shakishly tells Li Qi to go back to his seat. He walks past me and thanks me for helping him awaken, and he informs me that Luo City is about to have this vital class for awakened students to study together. He also confirms it will be in our school, and this blood test will be used to make sure people are qualified to enter this vital class. Though as class ends, I wonder if I will be admitted to the class. On the way home, I try to surprise Xiao by knocking on her door, but there is no answer, and she is passed out with a sick expression on her face. I drop my bag and rush over to her side. Xiaoyu slowly utters roasted sweet potato, but I tell her to stop worrying about that and ask her why suddenly developed a fever. She admits she washed my clothes that had been piling up for a week and the water was a bit cold. I put the thermometer in her mouth and I told her to keep this in her mouth and don't eat it. Her fever is 39 Celsius, way too high, so she needs medicine. I suddenly realized I could try to use the remolding fruit to help Xiao recover her condition. Xiao asks why my face is so dark, and I remark it must be because I might be an African. I do a few runs of the lottery, get a fruit, and give it to Xiaoyu to eat, and her face lights up seeing it. She says she didn't even get to taste it, and it is all gone. But her face and condition instantly start to improve. She is slightly surprised, checks her temperature again, and asks where I got that fruit from again, wondering if I awakened. Deciding to be honest, I tell her I'm not sure if it counts, but I am a different person now than who I was before, and I ask if she wants to become awakened. Xiao instantly replies with yes. I tell her that I will find a way, and she jokes by bringing up singing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. I tell her I don't know what she is talking about, and I send her back to bed. Comparing the 2 different fruits from the system, I think one stellar fruit can provide roughly 15 days worth of stellar power, and I then use the remolding fruit to improve my body's potential. Only then can I speed up my training with these fruits and gather the starlight even faster. I quickly realize that in my current stage, the remolding fruits are something that Lu Xiaoyu and I currently need, as I need to improve her foundation to prepare her for the awakening. Though to all my peers, I think I will count on all of you for all your negative emotions to be able to buy the remaining fruits. Cuts to next day in class. I realize that I have been training the entire night yesterday, and I am not even tired without even sleeping. My classmate tells me that they are going to announce those who will join the Dao Yuan, or the vital class for the awakeners. The teacher walks in with a female student saying she will be teaching the Dao Yuan class. The teacher informs everyone that our city has agreed to form a Dao Yuan class in our school to gather talented students and to provide a uniform learning environment and training, and introduces the new teacher as the special class's head teacher. He announces that for whom names he reads from the list, stand up so that we may know who you are and get to know your head teacher. He reads off the following names: Liu Li, Li Qingyu, Yuan Lingqi, and Lu Shu. Though this shocks the whole class, and the teacher confirms yes, that's right, and tells me to stand up. I apologized to the teacher and told him I was only helping my fellow students to make sure that their ears were all right. Naturally, This comment gives me a solid free 1,500 negative emotional points, and I think of how kind they all are, and I thank them on behalf of Xiao Yu. The new head teacher introduces herself as Shifei, and the student next to me congratulates me on getting into the Dao Yuan class. Though I joke about telling her the secret about getting in, she remarks how she knew I wouldn't leave her here alone. I then smile and repeat after me, Para para power, shalom shalom fairy shazam. She asks if I am crazy as I turn to my phone to cause more chaos. I send 2 messages into the group chat, as long as you are alive something good will happen to someone else, and now that I have entered the class. From now on, your social circle will be very attractive, because I am there and those messages provide me with more sweet negative emotions. I am honestly grateful, and each brick that is on the road to Xiao's awakening will have your name carved on it. The teacher walked in with the transfer students, causing everyone to pay attention. The teacher explained that due to the formation of the Dao Yuan class, our school will accept a group of transfer students and that we are going to reorganize the seating arrangements and welcome new peers. I realized that all those who had transferred to his class seemed rather energetic. Amongst them was this skinny female student who looked exceptionally good with her short hair and her mixed blood looks. Her choice of clothing was a little tomboyish, and she had an air of coolness around her.